morning, SMIT. Absolutely humbled and visibly nervous to be in front of you today. My intro mentioned a plethora of achievements. I'm not one to brag about myself, but that was important for two very good reasons. One, in my own head, I personally believe that I'm just getting started. I've not achieved even 10% of where I want to be in my life. And number two, you have to understand that I've been a pretty average guy throughout. I've been a pretty average student. I had 84 in my 10th, 76 in my 12th, 7.5 at SMIT, not great. And I've been a below average employee. So if there's one thing that I want you to take from this talk today, is that if I can get to wherever I have been able to in whatever time that I've taken, there is no reason that you can't. In the process of humanizing myself a little bit, I sort of jotted down a couple of failures that I could remember on the top of my head from around my class 12th. So except physics and computer science, I failed every subject throughout my class 12. Left in 6 months, didn't care what I was doing there. Went to get my first master's degree. I failed at around 60 job applications, could not get a job, finally ended up with an internship. I completely bombed my first startup, and even with Fanfight, I failed with over 100 pitches, around 140 or so. By 2016, by any measure that we traditionally measure success, I was the biggest failure that I personally knew. There were friends that were doing better. There were Facebook walls full of people enjoying their lives. And here I was, did not know where to go next. But that is the price you pay if you're following the road that no one else is taking. That is the price you have to pay. You're a fool if you believe that you'll take the road less traveled and the results will be the same as everyone else. What I'm trying to do here today is list down 3 or 4 points that help me follow through with my goals, that help me stay on that path that I'd chosen. To start with, life has a strange way of working out. The truth about life is your problems are only and only as bad as you make them sound in your head. I started Laundr.ie, which was my startup before Fanfight in 2012. It completely crashed and burned. I had no idea what to do next. I was down and out. I told you before that I failed at about 60 job applications. This time, when I had completely failed, when I was having 5 rupee meals with daily wage workers, somehow I landed a job at Dell in Europe, when I was not really looking for one. And that changed the way I started looking at life. That changed the way I especially started looking at risk. That risk is okay, because the least that our parents have done is given us education enough that something in life will always work out. So if you're making that the reason that you're not trying something, you're just fooling yourself. It's okay to go try out, because something in life always comes. Something in life always works out. The only caveat being, are you ready to just follow through with it? Another place where this learning came from was my brother, who was a student at NIT Allahabad at that point and somehow managed to get disbarred from placements. I called him all super concerned, like an elder brother should be, and I was surprised to see the most chilled out person at the other end of the phone. All he said was, it's not a big deal, all I have to do is clear an entrance exam. And that was it. He was 4 years younger to me, and I've never seen someone react to such a big problem in that way. That, to me, is a superpower. He looks at a problem very objectively, figures out what can he do about it, and focuses on only that one particular thing. That is what we call focusing on your circle of influence. focusing on only things that are in your control. Everything else is a waste of time. Drowning in self-pity, saying, why did this happen to me? Or why am I the one life treats this way? Will get you nowhere. Just drain your energy, drain your time, drain your resources. The other important thing is you can only connect the dots backwards. I'm stealing this from Steve Jobs, who put it in wonderful words. A lot of times we fail and we are heartbroken, but 5 years down the line, you maybe realize that that was for the best or the better. I failed at 60 job interviews. I failed at my first startup. If I had not, would I have been here today? Would I have started FanFight? A lot of things would not pan out like they have. I would not be standing in front of you today. To finish with this topic, I would just want to say, failures are fine, problems are fine. What seems life-threatening today will be something you'll be reminiscing about in 2 years' time. Take them in their stride and just keep moving on. Moving on to my second point, which says perfection is a myth and you can improve at almost anything. I'm probably I'm the 1% of people, of engineers in this country who's never given the IIT JEE or the CAT. The only reason being that I was so afraid of perfection, so afraid of not making it, that I could not take myself to the examination hall. As a society, we are so entrenched with the idea of being perfect, we put so much pressure on ourselves and on our children that the only way to succeed is to be the best. All that does is take the focus away from the goal, from the journey and onto the goal. Drill it in your head. You are not here to be the best. The only goal worth pursuing is to be 1% better tomorrow than what you are today. The only thing you should worry about is stagnation. The only thing that should concern you is to keep a hold of the process, and the goal will take care of itself. And that is what changed while I was preparing for the GMAT. I fell in love with that exam. I fell in love with the process. I fell in love that I could solve things tomorrow that I could not solve today. The other thing about life is you can get better at almost anything. The only thing being you need to choose what to get better at. I told you I did not get into the departmental basketball team. I ended up captaining the college team. When it came to the GMAT, the price I had to pay was 3 years of working at it. But I was ready to pay that price. I chose to be better at it, and I was ready to pay that price, and that is all that is stopping you from being better at anything that you want to be. If you're ready to pay the price, the hard work, the time, the patience it requires, there's nothing stopping you from being better at anything at all in life. There is no set timeline in life. When I graduated from college, I thought life ends at 30. I thought if you've not made it professionally by 30, that is the end of it. We've marked 30 as such a big point in our lives. Generally, as society, we have compartmentalized life into these pigeonholes where you have to graduate at 22, you have to do your MBA at 25, get married at X, get a good job, blah, blah. And media hasn't helped. Media has thrown stories of 22, 23-year-olds who've built billion-dollar businesses that we've come to believe that that is the only truth. Whereas the truth, as far as numbers are concerned, is that more 35-plus-year-olds build billion-dollar companies than people who are younger than 28. Life started changing when I started viewing it as a 30, 40-year work cycle rather than a 5-year work cycle. What it helped me with was it helped me stretch my goals, which meant instead of thinking of building a billion-dollar company, I could first think of building a company that employed one person. Then I could think of getting seed funded. Series A. And hopefully over time, those goals add up to my final destination. The other thing it let me do is let me take a step back. A lot of times in life, you will have to take 2 steps back so that it can catapult you 5 steps forward. I was in Singapore doing an internship for $2,000 a month. As an intern, that is decent. I left that, joined a startup in Delhi at $20,000 a month. I would not have been able to do it if I was looking at timelines, if I was looking at, I need to get settled at X and Y. My only goal was to build a profile to get into a good MBA school. That was the price that it needed. I could not at that point think about what my friends are doing, what my friends are buying, what's happening around the world. You will always have people doing better than you. You will always feel there are people who've had better luck than you. The truth about all of it is that luck over a decent enough period of time, over a lifespan, will even out. Someone who's lucky yesterday will not be, and you might be. And that is how life usually works out. I've left the most important one for the end. Frankly, all the other 3 are mostly to complement this one golden rule that's worked for me all throughout my life. If someone was to ask me today what success is, then success is just about constantly knocking doors till one of them opens up for you. Being absolutely ragged in your head that you will not stop till a door opens up. It sounds very easy when I say it, but in principle, in practice, every single thing in the world would be stopping you from knocking the next door. Your friends, your family, your partner, your colleagues, everyone will say, stop this madness. Let alone them. Every bone in your body will tell you, stop being the stupid idiot that you are and go back to what the norm is. 99% of you will stop there. The 1% who do not, who are crazy enough to still keep knocking doors, will be the ones who will make it. As an example, just pure numbers, 1 in 10 startups work out. If I put it another way, you'll have to start up 10 times to make sure you succeed as an entrepreneur. All that is getting up again and again and starting again. If your 3rd startup works, you are very, very lucky. If your 9th startup works, you are still very lucky. Are you ready to do that again? Because the world will say that you're stupid to try again. It's you who has to believe that I'm okay with it. I'm okay being the idiot. I'm okay living on the floor. I'm okay doing everything. But I will have a go at it again. The only thing is, make sure the next time you get up is better than your last time. A lot of people come to me. I've raised 4 rounds of funding for Fanfight till date. And somehow people think I'm an expert at raising funds, and they come to me asking, what's the golden rule? And I don't have one. This is how Fanfight got funded. I was at ISB, I was a student, I had no earnings at that point. I had put all my money into building our first version of the product. We were down to, me, my brother and my wife were down to a meal a day. My brother used to go to office in the morning, come back, and that was the only meal he had. I had asked a friend to lend me some money in case I don't raise in the next 1 week. I'd sent out 150 pitch decks to possible investors. 10 of them got back to me. 1 of them set up a call. So 1 is to 150. That is the ratio that you're fighting against. 1 of them set up a call. He did not give me money. He just said, he connected me to someone who invests in the gaming space. Even that guy did not give me money. He said, why don't you talk to this entrepreneur who's doing some interesting stuff? I had no reason to call that entrepreneur. I did not the first day because I wanted to meet investors, not entrepreneurs. I called after a little bit of persuasion. I called him the next day, and that entrepreneur funded me. So what door opens up, you are not sure. What connects where, you're not sure. The only thing that you can do is keep knocking every single door that comes on your path. Just keep at it, because that is all that you can do. I'd like to leave you with this. It stayed with me for a very long time. I hope it inspires you in any which way you find possible. Be daring, be different, be impractical. Be anything that will assert integrity of purpose and imaginative vision against the play-it-safers, the creatures of the commonplace, the slaves of the ordinary. Thank you so much. That's my time.